Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blanks and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. It's Drew hanging out with you here today. I got some fun stuff I want to talk about. One part, always rumors. I always want to talk about rumors and possibilities, especially when it comes to superheroes. I always want to talk about that. But then we're going to get into some other stuff behind the scenes of what can be affecting your cord cutting experience, as well as some other interesting news as far as that goes. So a little bit different of a format of a show, but hopefully nonetheless entertaining as well. So recently getting caught up here, want to get you on the latest rumor. I mentioned in the last show today we were going to talk about Bryan Singer and some other folks down there at Fox have been requested to bring, some articles are saying X-Men to TV. And that was originally, when it was originally reported, that's what it was. It was X-Men to TV. That's what they were wanting to talk about. That was the thing that was going to get you. That was the clickbait right there. Then you go into take a look at the articles, and ever since then it's been a little bit mellowed out there. Now it just says mutants. Now it says X-Men Universe, but not the X-Men themselves. And if you actually look at the description of what they're wanting to do, the very description of it starts out, it's two normal people who discover that their children are mutants, and with that, they've become on the run from the government, and they find an underground mutant sympathetic organization. So if that is to be the X-Men, that they're an underground mutant organization, way off track from what it is and has ever been. That's more talking about like the Morlocks, if they want to go into that particular type of thing there. So they've optioned for it. Bryan Singer's still involved, which makes me not so excited. I enjoy the X-Men films for what they are, but I know that there's more potential there. And bringing it into the TV universe, they've already talked about doing a lot of this stuff. The Hellfire Club was going to get its own series they're developing. Looks like they pushed that to the wayside. And not only that, but doing it on Fox doesn't really guarantee a type of budget that would be really interesting to make and see these humans interact with their powers and what they do. I just think it's going to fall flat. I don't think it's going to be that great. And it's something to get people excited about, because I've been saying this for a while, and I've told my friends that the X-Men, I'm talking about the actual team, would be better served as being a television show. But in my head, if it had been angled towards something like Netflix or HBO, Showtime, these types of premium channels where you can get more money to make stuff, but even in general, the X-Men is better served being episodic, because with the ensemble that you want to do, one of the biggest complaints about the movies is bringing in these characters and then ultimately doing nothing with them. They're just there as fodder, as kind of fun to put on the poster, but you're going to tailor the movies really to fit the storyline of just, maybe at most 3 characters. So a lot of these other people that you're really introducing, they never get fleshed out. And that was, I mean, it was all over in the original 3 X-Men movies when it really just became about Wolverine. The Wolverine was the main guy that was going to lead you through everything throughout these films. So as a television show, that would allow you to flesh out these characters and really get into who they are and what makes them interesting and develop these storylines that could be Nightcrawler-centric or Colossus-centric or Cyclops-centric, Jean Grey-centric, so on and so forth, and really give them some dimension rather than you just see them use their powers a couple times in a movie and then all of a sudden they're gone. Now, that idea is great as the X-Men. This, by all descriptions, will not be X-Men. From what I can see, it's not Scott Summers. It's not Jean Grey. It's not Kurt, and it's not Hank. It's not Charles Xavier. It's not the X-Men. Not Remy LeBeau. It's not Gambit. They're going to be mutants, I guess. There's going to be mutants in it. They want to develop that world, but they don't want to bring the names in. They don't want to bring in the names from the movies. But I'm telling you right now, there's a good opportunity here to do that. Because Gambit has only appeared in one movie, which they've retconned to make that not happen. And the development of the Gambit movie has been a nightmare. I don't even know if it's still going on. But he's a character you can put in this show. And if you're going to do a mutant underground, not to say that he was a Morlock or anything, but he came from a thieves guild, that he could be the type of character that could be a leader of that. You could put Gambit in there. He could be somebody that would be interesting to see. And there's other X-Men characters that may have been in a movie or two that you can use, that you don't have to use Wolverine, you don't have to use Cyclops, but you can use some of these other ones in there to make it work. Angel was a very underdeveloped character. They could put him in there. And then you have other ones like Jubilee, who was hardly used. I mean, she was there in Apocalypse. She didn't do anything except wear yellow. That's how you knew it was her. But they could use her. Or any of those other Generation X characters, like Chamber or Mondo. So there's other characters you can use, but just like, we're mutants. I don't want them making up their own. I just want them to keep away from that. The iconography of the X-Men is important. That's why I think having somebody that is a character you've seen in the movies kind of bridges the gap. You don't got to bring them all over. You don't got to bring them all. Just bring 1 or 2 and then introduce some other characters that we know of and put it back in there. So I think that this could be a chance, a shot at redemption for the Gambit character. I think it's time to put him in something pretty big because, like I said, the movie thing is it's nightmare. It's development hell right now. So that's on board, but like I said, I'm skeptical when it comes to Bryan Singer still kind of being a creative force in this. And you can tell me why I'm wrong. You can always go ahead and tell me on Facebook or Twitter why I'm wrong. But it just, when I saw it, I was skeptical, and then when I actually read it, I was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting. So we'll see if the mutant children are the people, or there are going to be any characters that we would know about, or it's just going to kind of be this, these 2 people finding out about stuff in the mutant world. I just don't know if I'd want to follow it. And I certainly don't think it would have been something worth pushing out the Hellfire Club, because that seemed like a pretty cool concept. A lot of people are really interested in seeing villain-centric shows. It's kind of becoming in vogue, and the Hellfire Club is pretty dang cool. So that's going to be in development there. Not sure yet whether it's going to be on Fox proper or whether it would be on FX or FXX and those other type of branches. But we got more about Fox in and of itself coming down the pipe here on the show. Going to save that for the last segment because it's going to be pretty exciting to not really exciting to talk about, but just an idea of a studio that's wanting to push the streaming experience forward. So that could be part of this whole move, but Fox looking to maintain a foothold on the mutant properties without giving it back to Marvel, trying to develop something new and hopefully something better. I really hope this does change. I really hope that if they're not going to give the X-Men back to Marvel, that they could actually develop a X-Men X-Men TV show that would be of interest. I'm hoping that's the case. I don't want to see this other stuff. You can, as far as I'm concerned, you can stop with the X-Men movies. If you just put in the money and the dedication and the people to make this X-Men TV show, I think the audience will be all the better off for it too. So that's what I'm saying. Hey, Fox, don't make this about just the mutant universe, the X-Men universe. Bring the X-Men in there. Because I'm tired of seeing Nightcrawler show up and he just makes a few puffs and that's it. And then he's gone. Then he no longer uses it. And then you can actually get actors who will dedicate themselves towards inhabiting these roles and being in a series. You can launch careers rather than just bring in actors for the sake of a movie and then just let them, do whatever they want and not actually have it serve any greater purpose to the story or to the character. Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah. Anyway, but they're not going to listen to me more than likely. We got more to talk about coming from Fox and more about the experience of cutting the cord. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. We'll be right back.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. Now, I don't know if some of you have been seeing it there on your Facebook, always wanting to try to incite a panic on social media. Of course, all of you know that every month Mark Zuckerberg's going to start charging you for Facebook Premium. But, hey, if you post whatever your friend shared on your wall, then they will know that you don't give them permission to charge you. And there will be free versions of Facebook if you post some ridiculous thing as your profile picture. Every month, a couple of my dumb friends post that. Or that just to be safe, and then they share it and it's dumb. But another thing that just came out here recently in widespread panic is there was a Supreme Court ruling regarding the use of a password that, based on the ruling, immediately kicked up a stir about if using this password that is not yours being a federal crime, then anybody that shares their Netflix account or HBO Go or whatever with a friend or a family member, whenever that person's using your account, is committing a federal crime. And it was all over the place. It was shared thousands, if not millions of times, like, hey, be on the lookout because if you share your Netflix password, then you're going to jail. And I just want to let everybody know it's not true. Okay? Put down the gun. Just put it down, man. Nothing's going to happen to you if you share your Netflix password. And by the way, I want to keep this because until I get HBO Now, I need my dad every year to give me his HBO Go information so I can watch Game of Thrones. But that's not what the Supreme Court's ruling was concerning. And honestly, I'm surprised that it even came to Supreme Court because what they're ruling on is actually a form of fraud. So somebody had lost credentials at their job and then used someone else's login information to maintain or attempting to defraud or corrupt that thing. That's a crime, which I was like, yeah, because that is a form of fraud, which is already a crime. But in that case, it was using someone else's password to commit bad deeds. And in the statement or anything involving the case, all these things like account-based stuff for media consumption never mentioned. So Netflix is never mentioned. And this thing, the summary was like 60-something pages long. So it doesn't count towards your media accounts. So please, I'm begging you, stop sharing the BS posts. Stop making it seem like this is another thing about corporate reach and all that other stuff. The Supreme Court's ruling is not related to that. So you can share away for now until they decide to actually appeal that and find some other kind of crazy thing to make it so it's not. But right now, it's fine. You're okay to proceed as you were in allowing your grandma that one account on Netflix. So it's okay. And how this stuff is bound to happen. And it's not surprising this come up. Now, it's a false alarm right now. But as the media consumption coming through the internet and streaming and using these services become more and more popular, we're going to see contention and pushback from the providers. And I go back and I think of when you look at stuff like, remember think of the ride share applications. We're talking Uber, Lyft, those types of applications. Now, Uber hadn't really gotten, I mean, when Uber came out, there was these levels of use you can have, but I mean, it was straight up going to be like a taxi service. It was a chauffeur service they were going to do. But when Lyft first came out, it was considered a ride share, which they did not obligate you to pay. It was a suggested donation. A lot of the original ride share ones were donation based, as if you were like, oh, thanks, buddy, here's some money for gas. Now, Lyft actually said like, hey, we suggest that you donate this much. And then another company didn't have anything. I mean, it was all based on how much you wanted to pay that allowed to do that. But enough litigation came down and enough red tape from the man about these sort of practices led towards, no, now that it grows and we have to be considered for this, we have to be considered this type of service, therefore we have to charge per mile, we have to do this, we have to offer this. And for a while out in here, like you couldn't, lifts and stuff weren't allowed at the airport. It was only allowed for taxis. So they had to become more and more like a taxi company. So the regulations for a lot of these just started to come through. And then we see with, even with these streaming services, remember when Hulu first came out, we've talked about this before, fairly limited on towards the type of programming that it was offering, and then it got in the bed with more and more studios. And Netflix, man, when it first came out, it was primarily just about getting the discs, and your streaming experience was very poor. I remember streaming, you could only get like, sequels to bad horror movies out there. They didn't have big name movies coming out on the streaming service, and then it became more and more popular, and then they started making their own stuff, and they got the big deal with Disney, and so the legalities and stuff, a lot of it, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. That maybe one day we will see this. Like, no, there are limitations on devices that you can log in at, and they'll monitor those, and they'll raise some flags, and they'll like, no, if somebody else wants to get this, then they're going to have to pay for it. How that will be monitored, I'm pretty sure they're developing the technology right now. If it doesn't already exist, we can ask the NSA. But that's probably going to be coming down the pipe at some point. So, but right now, like I said, if you see it there on Facebook, if you see it whenever, the Supreme Court's ruling about the password, using someone else's password ever, was not related to your HBO Go or your Hulu or your Amazon Prime and stuff like that. That's not the point to where we're at. Okay, so please stop sharing it, stop freaking out, and also stop sharing that stupid thing about paying for Facebook. Please, it's already been addressed years ago. Okay? It's already been done. So all my friends out there, all my family, never post that stupid junk again. Please. Anyway, sorry. Sounded a bit angry there. But I just want everybody to know, because it's still... And the Snopes hadn't gotten out there as prevalently as... Prevalently? Is that even a word? I don't know. As widespread as the false reports that the Supreme Court ruled that this was a federal crime. So... get that word spread. I am always about spreading the word of correct information. Not misinformation, not disinformation. I'm talking about true dat info. So that's at least good news for now. And here in our next segment, we're going to talk about continuing down that streaming process, about a big studio getting in the game, doing something kind of similar but a little bit different about enhancing your TV watching experience. And that's going to be come up. Should be signs of a lot of cool stuff in the future as well. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. We'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, everybody, we are back on the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast. We just got done telling you a little bit about your legal rights concerning your accounts and your media streaming services, but I wanted to get on here about another service that's being offered by one of the major studios here in network television, and that is Fox. Again, talking about Fox has decided to come out with a service where, with like Xfinity and stuff, if you have a subscription-based service to your cable company, you can watch through their channel. But Fox is going to be offering the ability, if you have like Fox Go, I think it's the Fox Go app, or to be on Fox.com and have a subscription basis with them, that you'll be able to stream the Fox television programs while they're airing. So not only just a catalog of previous episodes, but you won't have to wait until after it airs, like the next day. HBO has a pretty quick turnaround. Like when sometimes when you want to watch Game of Thrones, it's like after it airs, then it gets uploaded. Fox will allow you to actually stream it while it's airing in its original time slot. So for those people that want to catch it on the time that it normally comes out, but they're not going to be home to do it, you can view it that way. And some other networks have tried to do this. They'll have like on-demand services and stuff like that, but get fairly limited as to which programs you can do that with. Fox is basically opening up the door to watch all of their shows when they air, with the exception of sporting events, which that's all contractual stuff with different leagues and different teams and stuff like that. They're not going to be able to do that. But Fox programming in and of itself that is produced by Fox, then that's what you're going to be able to do. Now, it's interesting that they're doing it just enough with Fox alone for, if you want to catch some of the stuff that's on Fox, if you're still watching Gotham in September, they're the one putting out the Lethal Weapon show, and we'll see how that works. But I'm more interested to see whether they're going to offer that in the way of their child, I guess you can call that child network, stuff like FX and FXX. So if you want to watch stuff like You're the Worst or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, those types of programs that are honestly getting a lot more play and a lot more popularity than regular Fox shows, whether that would be open to watch those that streaming service as well. I want to say it's all under one roof, so you'd be able to, but don't quote me on that. Do not quote me. I don't want to see an article on Facebook about it. But Fox is stepping into that, again, hoping that they're going to extend it to the other networks they offer, just in case you're sitting there and you're like, oh, what day is it? Okay, it's Friday. It's about 10 p.m. Oh, they must be doing an Every Simpsons Ever marathon on FXX right now. I think I want to check that out. And then you can just veg out with The Simpsons because you don't really, as far as streaming and everything with The Simpsons, there's no game right now. So that's what I'm hoping they'll do. And because there's not really a lot on Fox that I watch at all. As I told you, I gave up on Gotham. But what we're looking at there, if they offer that for FX and FXX shows, then you can definitely peep that, because there's more on there that I would want to watch. The Strains on FX, Better Things, Atlanta, American Horror Stories on FX. What else we got on here? Gotham's on Fox. Okay. I would watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I do enjoy Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's a pretty decent show they got. Lucifer's been renewed. I tried to watch it. I don't think it's that great. But if you're one of the 8 people to watch New Girl and they keep putting that on, just be able to watch it while it's on. Lethal Weapon coming out, like I said. I may watch that. If you're still watching Empire. So there are some there are some shows of note that are out there that you'd be able to get involved in this particular service to watch it when it's on, and then watch the older episodes and everything later on. So if you want to watch it live, you can do that. Oh, Hell's Kitchen. Yeah. Oh, I forgot The Exorcist is coming as a show. But watching The Simpsons or Family Guy, that'd be cool to be able to watch it on the night that it airs, on Sundays. So that's what they got planned. Like I said, it's more robust than any of the other networks have done, with the exception of sports. So watching Fox Sports, you're still going to have you're either going to have that cable subscription. I know NBC Sports Network has been allowed on some of these things, like if you can get Sling TV or PlayStation Vue, like those types of things. But I think Fox Sports is part of PlayStation Vue. I'd have to relook back at those things, but you're gonna have to have more involved with it than just having the Fox app, simply because of the way the contracts and everything work. You're not gonna be able to catch the game on there, so you won't be able to live stream Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Regrettably, I know. God, can they split those two guys up? I mean, honestly, it's like the same person talking, and mostly because every time they cover one of my Seahawks games, the Seahawks play like garbage, and I think it's the Aikman curse, man. I don't think Aikman likes him, and every single time I watch him play on Fox with those guys, like not like the local team, but if it's like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman because it's the game of the week or whatever, they always play like crap. And I don't know what it is, man. But in any case, you'd have to get a different subscription in order to watch that. But you're going to be able to get access to, and I'm not sure how much. I mean, I can take a quick gander at what Fox is going to charge you on a per month basis. So there's a Fox Sports Go, but that's not going to be put through that. Fox Now. That's what it's called, Fox Now. It's pretty cool that they're doing this. If they're the first, well, not really. Like I said, they're not the first, but if they ended up getting it to do something like that, then you're looking at people like ABC and CBS and NBC that don't want to get left out from anything. They're going to do that too. So now we're looking at not having to wait till seasons are over. We're looking at your actual live TV watching experience being able to be done on something other than through your cable box. So it's the first step, everybody. This is what it's coming to. And eventually, wanting to cut the cord is all well and good, but if you have enough of these things on here, then all of a sudden you're going to end up paying more. So you got to find those types of services like a PlayStation Vue that can roll all these channels into one, and you don't have to pay such a hefty premium. So right now, this requires a TV provider. This is what I'm looking at here. So they'll say you have to have TV subscriptions, so it'll be like HBO Go. But I'm going to assume, if you have that, that's great and everything, but and it's one of those things you can possibly share with somebody. So my dad's already got DirecTV. I'll just pull that. But it's good. And again, like I said, wanting to get you the right information out there. We saw that with HBO. We saw that the way it went, and Comedy Central has another thing that I think they do the same way. But that's going to eventually lead to the channel coming through to just having that service. So we'll see. So right now, it's in the stages where they're going to offer you on Fox to stream the shows while they're airing. Right now, again, anything I said previously that said you don't have to have a TV subscription, negatory. You do right now have to have a provider. Okay, this thing is, we're doing it live, folks. We're doing it live. So you do have to have a provider right now, but I can definitely see further down the pipe that that's going to get removed, and you'll just be paying for Fox, you can pay, $3 or $4 a month, which wouldn't be bad, especially if you can get access to shows that are from FX and FXX. Just be able to sit there and stream The Simpsons, because they got a chokehold on The Simpsons. So we'll see how that works. All right. Well, I want to thank you for hanging in there with me today, going through those stuff. I hope I've been informative and a little fun there for you. You can check us out on gsmcpodcast.com or iTunes or any other places you can get subscriptions for podcasts, and check out our other programming from GSMC as well. You can follow us, like us, scorn us on Facebook and or Twitter, whichever your preferred platform is. And I want to thank you for hanging out with today. I've been Drew. You've been wonderful, and this concludes your broadcast day.